Big question of the day. It is Friday, April 11th. This is Morning Kick Around. I'm Robert. He's Jason. Question of the day: will USL eventually be a bigger TV product than Major League Soccer? This stems from its first two broadcasts of the season. USL had some pretty impressive numbers. The front office is encouraged. This is pulling from a Forbes article from early this morning. According to league sources, the match between Phoenix Rising San Antonio FC drew an average of 444,000, topping out at 760 over the latter portion of the match, and that's enough to make the regular season clash the most watched match in USL history. The last year's even more so than last year's nationally televised championship game, and in line more or less with how USL or MLS regular season games on Fox used to perform before the Apple deal. What do you think of that?
It's pretty big. It's pretty big. Now, again, this is from a Forbes article written by Ian Quillen. If you want to go read it, go look for it. It's titled, "What Surprisingly Strong USL TV Numbers Last Weekend Tell Us." And Ian tries to analyze these and be fair about them, because I do think context is always important. And what he says is part of this may be about the timing of the game, that there really wasn't anything else going on sports-wise in that moment. You had a NCAA Women's Basketball Championship game between UConn and South Carolina that did 8.5 million viewers, by the way. Lots of people watched that.
That's
But
numbers.
UConn dominated that game, so it got pretty boring because there wasn't any real competition. So did people then, maybe flip over, see there was a soccer game? Oh, look, it's interesting. What is this? I've never seen it before. USL Championship.
Colors
Okay.
and movement. Colors and movement.
Yay. I mean, it's sports. And I do think, look, I don't think this means this means that like there's some massive appetite for USL Championship. Like, I don't know that I'd take it that far, but I definitely think that there's something attractive about the league for people. Like, I definitely think it means that people are willing to give this league a chance, that they're willing to take a look at it as a competition and say, again, maybe out of curiosity, how long does that last? I don't know. It was pointed out to me by Dan Vaughn from Protagonist Soccer, who was on my podcast, The Best Soccer Show, last night. You can go support that too. Listen to it. It's out on your podcast.
He's been on this show too. He's been on this show.
Yeah. Dan's been on this show too. Dan was saying that, one thing is that he sees covering USL is that USL is still a national league, or USL is more of a national league than MLS is, in the sense that people, after 25, 30 years, and obviously with new clubs coming on, people latch onto their MLS team. They watch their MLS team. That's it. They don't go looking for the national broadcast of teams they don't care about. They're not looking at that. This is not like the NFL. But maybe because there's still this counterculture vibe to USL. MLS has moved out of the counterculture realm. They no longer get to claim that anymore. It used to be a thing. But maybe because USL still has this, we're all in this together, people are saying, I'm going to go actively choose to watch the CBS game to boost the numbers to make it better for my league. It could be a thing.
It's kind of wild how since this announcement over the last couple months or so, USL has become the we're all working together sort of entity, when probably like pre-COVID and that sort of era before, the sentiment among like the grassroots soccer people was not necessarily pro USL. There was cases of USL moving into places like Chattanooga and otherwise seemingly like parachuting in on places that shown that there is an appetite for soccer and kind of swooning in on those. And here we come, fast forward to now a couple of years later, and this is the darling of the American soccer crowd.
Yeah, this stuff shifts. These are shifting sands at all times in American soccer. I got into this with Dan last night on the Best Soccer Show as well. This idea that, who the good guy, who the white hat and the black hat are in American soccer is always shifting and changing. So what I would say about this, as somebody who loves American soccer, and I'm not saying I love MLS more than I love USL. MLS has been around. MLS has made a dent. MLS was the league I started covering. I got paid to cover MLS. Of course, I have an affinity for MLS. But I also like the USL, and I've talked a lot about the USL over my career. Spent entire days on my old radio show talking only about lower division soccer and making space for the USL because I want to see it grow. I think this is good for everybody. Like, I think this should be recognized as something good for soccer, period. If you want to read into it that it means the USL could be bigger than MLS, I can't tell you you're wrong because I don't know. I doubt it very seriously. I still think stadiums matter. I still think production values matter. I still think name recognition of players matter. I think all that stuff matters. But there should be space, particularly in some of these markets. Now, Phoenix and San Antonio being the two teams is fascinating because those are two big markets by USL standards. Phoenix is probably the biggest market without an MLS team in the country. And I know Detroit's right there too. So you're talking about two of the biggest markets that USL has. These are the only soccer teams in those two individual towns. San Antonio is well established. Phoenix has made noise in their market by being creative with their stadiums and signing Didier Drogba and having musicians in their ownership group and all those things. So these two teams are higher profile than most USL Championship teams, Rob. I think that's a fair statement. If this was, I'm trying to pull out of my, I mean, obviously, look, last year we did.
Loudon.
Sure, Loudon is a sub exurb of DC. Probably not a lot of people like, I got to watch Loudon. I will say that again, the championship game for USL Championship was pretty good on television in terms of ratings. It was pretty good. And that was Colorado Springs and Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Rhode Island's got a market size that's probably bigger than you think in Providence, but Colorado Springs is not a big place. So, there's something here.
Something here indeed. And just the fact that Forbes is providing content and covering the lower leagues in the United States is kind of a little bit of an indication of a culture switch here. And maybe those numbers, I think that that sentence from the article is quite telling, saying that the numbers that the USL produced in these two early season games that were broadcast, saying it's in line more or less with how MLS regular season games on Fox used to perform. And it's like so USL and CBS have already found that established audience. Like the audience has already switched the channel over to that. But the big question is, which hasn't happened yet for Major League Soccer, and we'll see if USL and the pro rel element elevates that. Like, can it go beyond that third of a million that seems to be the average for an American League game? Like, what is it that drives it consistently above 500,000, maybe into the millions? Like, how many MLS games got over the million viewer mark? I can't think.
Again, like, I don't know that you can divine what it is about MLS that prevented it from doing better on television or prevents it now. Obviously, the paywall is a major factor here because even if you talk about MLS Cup and, oh, look, the MLS Cup numbers were worse than these numbers that the USL Championship got for a regular season game, lots of people were watching on Apple, I'm sure, last season. Or maybe not. I mean, again, maybe people were like, whatever, I don't care about these two teams. I'm not watching this game. It could have been, absolutely could have been a thing. Although the market size, LA and New York, would indicate at least some people would be tuning in. I don't know. Is this something? Because this is what happens. People want to use this as a cudgel against MLS. Like, oh, look at the USL numbers. MLS is trash. Except I'm not sure I understand why.
I think it's the same people.
But what is it about? Like, the people who are choosing to watch USL are rejecting MLS. I don't understand that logic necessarily. Like, I don't know that always follows. And again, if they are just rejecting MLS, is it because they've done their research and they don't like single entity? Like, I find that to be a big step, a big leap to believe that that's what's going on. Or, again, what is it that that the idea that USL is being chosen over MLS? What is it about MLS that's turning people off? I'm sure MLS would love to know this, if indeed that is the dynamic. I'm just not sure it's the dynamic. Because if you put on the right two teams in a women's college volleyball match, you can get 500,000 viewers. If it comes after a certain game that's on ESPN. And I've watched softball. I watched Little League Baseball. Are those the best versions of those sports? No. Does that, if I watch Little League Baseball but don't watch a Major League Baseball game this season, does that mean that that Major League Baseball is trash and I've I prefer Little League Baseball in terms of the grand picture? Probably not,
Yeah,
right?
but you're the interest for anyone and yourself in Little League is the story behind it, because you know,
That's
like
right.
the
That's right.
window you're watching it through. These are the kids; they've had an
Yeah,
amazing year, and
agree.
like
Okay.
these moments will stand out forever. Like, you know, the context in which it's in. So
Why?
how does
Okay.
that view with USL? Oh, this is the league that is trying to make some changes in the landscape.
Okay. And I know we have, okay, I love you guys. Thank you for being here. But I know there's some bias at play. Just pointing it out. This is Father Time. MLS is a fake product and it shows. How? How is it a fake product relative to the USL, which is also a closed professional soccer league in America? Like, what is it about? When you say it's fake, what does that mean? And it shows. How? If I'm a casual viewer who's not intimately familiar with the way MLS operates, why would I look at that and go, that's fake? I don't think I would do that. I don't, if I didn't know anything about soccer or I only knew a little bit, I wasn't again reading up on how the governing documents run. Why would I say make that jump? Everyone knows MLS is not real soccer. MLS refuses to embrace the game in its purest form. How? Tell me how. I don't know what that means. What purest form? USL is not the purest form of the game. It's not even close.
I mean,
I
we
don't even
don't
know what that
really
means either.
necessarily. If we want to get to
That's
the
a
purest form, you'd probably
that's
go to your local
That's
amateur
quality
side. That's
again,
just
that's a quality judgment that has no meaning in 2025. It has no meaning. What is purest form of the game? Like, I don't
company
know what
versus
that
company, right?
means.
It's company versus company at this point, and no company is pure, right? I mean, it's not like I feel like if you're seeing purity, that is going to see the kids game down the street, right? I mean, that's just people playing for laughs and giggles and some exercise. That in its essence is purity. Is no structure, no money, no anything connected to it. But I guess I understand the sentiment. Maybe that is a, would you say, a biased or
No, look,
it's the loaded statements, but at the
you're
same
allowed.
time, there are some
You're
things
allowed.
about Major League Soccer that rub people the wrong
Sure,
way, like
sure.
the
I
way
get it.
that they deal with expansion, the way that they've pulled out of the Open Cup, the almost
But
trying to
again,
be the
we're
only
making
soccer that
hold on.
exists in the
But
country.
this is soccer exceptionalism, which I find hard to swallow. This is idea, and I love the game. This is my life. But this idea that soccer is special in some unique way that there's no justification for doing it the way MLS does it. Right? When people who follow the NFL never make these claims about the NFL, or they might, but most of the time they're still like, I'm going to watch the Browns this weekend. Give me more pain. But it doesn't matter to them that it's billionaires backing the league. It doesn't matter to them. It's again, it's this thing of, and I know that that's very American, and this is partly about rejecting an American idea of soccer, right? This is partly about everybody else does it different, and we want to be more like them because they're legitimate and we're not. Because why? Because the leagues are older. That's what it is. I again, I get very, I get very interested in the angles at which people come to this conclusion about what's real and what's not. If people have been supporting the same MLS team for the last 29 years, they've been buying season tickets, they've been going out, they supported their club, they're waving banners and chanting and everything. Are they fake fans? I don't think so. I don't think they're fake fans.
I could see that from a place. I could see that perspective from a person that doesn't live in a Major League Soccer city. Like, Major League Soccer has this appearance that, like, if it's not one of our teams, it's not legit, and it's not us. They seem, from a non-MLS city or non-MLS fan, it does seem like they are trying to own the game from top to bottom outright, and marginalize anyone that's not within that Major League Soccer system. But if you go to a game and you're in the stands, that is very real. There's nothing fake about that to the people, the locals, the fans. Like, that experience is real. But I kind of understand the perspective for a place that has been rejected for an expansion bid, or as a smaller town team that literally has no opportunity to have a team sniff it. I could see how they could be jaded into a viewpoint such as this.
No, okay. No, that's again, like what you like. I'm fascinated by the reasons people make these statements and sort of come to this conclusion that one is real and one is fake, or one is legitimate and one is not, one is authentic, one is not. We romanticize this sport in ways that, just as an observer, fascinate me. I'm not judging your decision to not like MLS. Don't like MLS. That's fine. Just again, we're here. Like, I'm just here thinking about these things as American soccer grows and changes, and we wrestle with this stuff. And I guess part of it is too, Rob, I don't like American soccer fans pitting themselves against each other. And we do it so much, and it is to the detriment of the game in our country. It absolutely is.
Yeah, the comment section where people slam MLS, that's fake stuff. When it's like, why is that fake to someone who's a season ticket holder to Columbus and they go every single weekend? Like that's not fake to them. And then in the same right of like slandering someone who's a lower league soccer fan, like, oh, have fun in your high school stadium with 200 people. Like that is real to the people that go to that. Yeah, let's not pit against each other. Let's lift all tides of soccer supporters in the United States. And you know how you can do that? By joining in the conversation. If you're watching this and not subscribing, subscribe now. Morning Kickaround on YouTube.com. We are climbing towards 2,000 subscribers, and that would be a great number to hit on our path to 50,000, right? Is that that's what we're going towards,
that's
right?
What we're going for. Yep.
And then, that would be great with every follower. More things open up to us in the YouTube world, and let's continue to do that. Great to have you along with the ride. Thank you, everyone who subscribed already. Follow us along on social media at MKickaround on X, Instagram, and the Blue Sky. You can write us a note, morningkickaround@gmail.com. Thank you to everyone who's written a note. I've done my best to reply to a few of those. We've gotten some good notes over there. We are also a podcast. Search Morning Kick Around for on your favorite audio platform and take us on the go or in the car, because you don't want to necessarily watch the YouTube while driving down the expressway. And then you can also support the show at coffee.com/morning kick around. There is some exclusive content there for anyone who has supported. And if you didn't hear your name shout out, go back to the beginning of the show. And I listed off all the supporters we got there on coffee.com/morning kick around already. Whew, that's Friday's show, I think. What do you think, Jason?
We did it. It's done. We kicked it for sure.
All right, Friday's been kicked. Plenty of soccer is on the way before we come back on Monday morning. So until then, everybody subscribe and enjoy your soccer.